Hello all, I'm Sai and you're watching The Book Dragon. In today's video, I'm bringing to you my spoiler-free review of Cujo by Stephen King. I tried to read this book twice before and I DNF'd it both the times, but this time around I ended up finishing the book and I should say that I liked it very much because it delivered everything that I expected. I'm also planning to review all the Stephen King books that I am to read from now on in the channel and make the playlist. So if you're interested in getting to know my thoughts on his books, please do look out for those videos. I'm currently into 75% of Insomnia by Stephen King, which I'll finish reading pretty soon, so that review will also be coming out in the next few weeks. So without any further ado, let's get into the review right away. So the book Cujo starts with our main character, Cujo the dog, being infected with rabies due to a bat bite that he suffers from because of chasing a rabbit and following it into a hole. No one knows that Cujo has been bitten by the bat, so no one is aware of the fact that he's been infected right now and he's not been vaccinated in the past also. As the story moves on, we follow a couple, Vic and Donna, and their child Tad. What happens on a particular day is Vic has this meeting that he has to attend in a different place, and so he leaves his wife and child in the town and goes back to the meeting. During this time, when Donna and Tad have to go out, they face some issue with the car and they take it to the mechanic. The mechanic is the person who's actually the owner of Cujo, and by the time they get there, Cujo has gone rabid and he has caused a lot of problems which no one is aware of except the mechanic himself. So when Donna and Tad go to the mechanic's shop, they find that Cujo has been infected, and if Donna steps out of the car, she can be bitten by the dog and she can also be affected by rabies, or worse, the dog can end up killing her and leaving her son just as such. The other problem is that they cannot stay inside the car forever also, because the summer in that particular year during which the story takes place is very hot, so if they stay inside the car, they can just end up being cooked alive. This premise itself provides a very thrilling plot, and I should say that the author has managed to portray the tension to us really well, because he has shown each and every stage in which the dog has been affected and how he has transformed from a very domesticated dog to a rabid dog. While this is the main story, we also focus on the relationship between Donna and Vic, because they are having some marital issues, and this also comes into play later on inside the book. I should say that other than the main plot of the book, which involves Donna and Tad being stuck inside the car with Cujo outside, seems like it has been very much elaborated just in order to provide more volume for the book. At the same time, another thing which I liked about the book is that even though he provides a lot of details that does not add to the plot of the book, it makes the story feel so much real and it feels like this has happened to a real person in the world, and I think that is the success of the author for this book especially. There is also this side plotline which follows the family of the mechanic Joe, but I should say that it did not add anything for the story as a whole, except for the fact that he has been left alone in the house and his wife and son have gone to some other place in order to visit their aunt. If the things that are happening in that place had been cut down, I can say that the book should have been much shorter. I think just in order to make the book longer, all those things were included inside the story. Though they provided the realistic element for the book as a whole, I can say that they could have been easily avoided because they did not add that much content to the story. Though I continuously say that there are many things that are written by the author inside this book which don't feel that much relevant for the plot, I think that those are the elements which made the story even more real for me and made me feel that tension properly, because I was able to understand that this is something that is happening for a real person inside the story and how that person can feel when things like this are happening around them. There are also some things which are very relatable in this book, like when he talks about some advertisements that are going on the television which just seem mind-numbingly stupid, and even after all that, people are doing the same kind of marketing strategies nowadays also, like 40 years after the book has been written. The marital issues that he discusses between Vic and Donna is also something which I like, because those are the things which just impact the society as a whole, and this is one of the main reasons why there is not that much of an easy and smooth communication between the couple throughout the book. And it's not like the couple are the only people that suffer from the problems that are faced in their marriage, it's also the child. All those things when brought into play make the story even more realistic and make us empathize for the characters and try to feel what they are feeling. Keeping all those things aside, the best part about this book, if you ask me, is the way in which King has described the symptoms of the rabies that the dog is experiencing and how it has changed the dog as a creature itself. The creature that Cujo is after he's been affected by rabies is not the dog he used to be before he was affected. The change in his thought patterns and his physical mannerisms are clearly explained by the author in this one, if you ask me. It's not like a person can sense and feel everything that is going inside the body of an animal, but the way in which he has intricately written all those things makes us understand how much this dog is going through right now, and it's not like there is a quick fix for anything like that and the poor dog has to just deal with it. Another thing which I liked about the book is the way in which he has written the thought patterns of Donna and Tad when they are stuck inside the car. The main thing about the book is that they are mother and child and not just two normal people. So the emotions that we see inside the car scenes are on their peak always, and the way in which he has written the thought patterns of Donna is really good, because whenever we are in danger, we tend to think of solutions at a very faster rate compared to normal times, and the way in which he slows down all those thoughts and shows them to us makes us understand how much is going on inside Donna's mind and how she has to deal with it just by sitting inside the car and also take care of her son. Even if she was stuck in the car all alone, it might have been easier, but she has a kid along with her and he's completely her responsibility alone. She can try and keep herself away from being frightened, but it is not possible to do that same thing for the child also, because he is a child and he will get frightened if the dog comes near the car and do some stuff. All those things happen inside the book, and the way in which Donna deals with them and protects her son is just very emotional to read. There is also the supernatural element that is included inside the story, and it is experienced by Vic as well as Tad, just in the form of a monster inside the closet, but it did not play any role inside the book at all in any way. I don't know why he included that as an element inside the book, because even the other things which I talk about that did not affect the story in any way had something to provide for the atmosphere of the book, but that supernatural element had nothing to do with anything inside the book at all. I know that all the Stephen King books are inside his own universe and there might be tie-ins using that supernatural element to other books, but considering this as a standalone book, I did not see any importance for that at all throughout the book, so that was a bit irritating and annoying for me towards the end of the book. So yes guys, I should say that as a whole there were many issues with this book which I faced when I thought about after finishing the book. The experience of reading the book was really original and just as I expected it to be. I was continuously tensed because of all the things that were going on inside the story. At the same time, I was also thinking of some solutions for the characters to get out of the situations that they are put into. It seems like a very scary as well as sad book towards the end, but I should say that the things that we experience throughout the book from the start to the ending makes the story even more realistic and plausible in every way if you ask me. So that's one thing which I loved about this book very much. I'm sure that I'm going to read a lot more Stephen King books in the future because I had a really good experience reading this one, and I also want to read more of his shorter books compared to his normal huge thick tomes. So yeah, finally I rated the book 4 stars because it deserves at least the 4 stars, even though it has many issues that does not have anything to do with the story of the book. And if you're thinking of reading the book, I'd suggest you to do it because the story does deliver what it promises, even though there are some boring instances inside the story. So yes guys, that's it for my spoiler-free review of Cujo by Stephen King. If you did enjoy watching today's video and found it useful in some way or the other, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. If you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.